Welcome once again to the Tin Dog Podcast. I had originally intended for this show to be a review of Stephen Moffat's two-part story. I won't bore you with the details, but there was an issue with the original recording, and so I thought I'd give you something a little bit different this time. Often at this time of the year, the BBC and 2Entertain bring out a collection of DVDs that allow them to cash in on the popularity of Doctor Who and its spin-off shows during the 13 or 14 week run, and this year's no exception. So I just wanted to do a quick roundup of all of the DVDs that are available at the moment or are coming out very soon so that you don't miss out. Now don't worry, I will be reviewing individually each of these releases in turn, and in the case of one I'll be splitting the review over 4 separate shows, but I don't want you missing out on anything that's coming soon. So without further ado, I'm going to do them in chronological order. Now just for reference, I'm reviewing the Region 2 versions of the discs. If you happen to live somewhere that don't play Region 2 or you require a multi-region DVD player, I'm sure you're aware of this already. I don't want you getting all excited thinking, oh, this title's coming out in America on this date, rushing to the shops and discovering that it's not. So please check your local listings just to be sure something's coming out on time. June the 16th, 2008 sees the release of a double-boxed set, Doctor Who K9 Tales. Now as you're aware, I'm quite obviously a fan of K9, hence the name of the show. So of course I'm looking forward to this particular boxed set. So what do you get? You get 2 very specific stories. The first one, The Invisible Enemy, marks K9's very first story, while the second disc is the first official Doctor Who spin-off, K9 and Company. K9 and Company is ideal viewing for any fans of the Sarah Jane Adventures because it lays the groundwork for the show that we're presented with now on CBBC. Of course, you may already have these on VHS, so what are the extras you get? Well, on The Invisible Enemy, you get a commentary. That's with Louise Jameson, John Leeson, that's the guy who does K9's voice, and with one of my personal heroes, Matt Irvine, and co-writer Bob Baker. You obviously get the now standard making-of documentary, this time called Dreams and Fantasies, and it's a wonderfully endearing look at how K9 came into being, as well as other aspects of the story, including its similarity, well alright, blatant rip-off some people would say, of a certain Isaac Asimov's story. You also get an extra called Studio Sweepings, which to be honest is more of a collection of videotaped recording sessions from the studio. It's worth seeing if you want more of a background into the series, but if you don't have that much interest in the background, then this is possibly worth skipping over. The usual suspects come with this disc. You've got the Easter eggs, the Radio Times listings, the subtitle production notes, but most importantly you have the CGI effects, which will allow you to get rid of that more than annoying exploding wall scene. Similarly, K9 and Company comes with a commentary, a lovely comedy short, K9 A Dog's Tale, where K9 himself answers a selection of questions. You get to see K9's first appearance on Pebble Mill, continuity, coming soon trailers, the usual suspects, so it's well worth looking at. However, if you're not a K9 fan, we'll be moving on to the next big release, which are the 2 Torchwood releases on the 30th of June. Yes, I say 2, because not only does Series 2 come out on DVD to buy, and if you'd like reviews of each of those episodes, please feel free to scan back over the back catalogue of Tin Dog podcasts, where I'm sure you'll be bored beyond belief by my reviews of each episode one at a time. Now this comes with a full set of 13 Torchwood declassifieds, and of course deleted scenes and some really nice outtakes. But best of all, it comes with a brand new documentary called The Lives and Deaths of Captain Jack. It's 20 minutes long and gives you a lovely insight into the timeline that is Captain Jack. The second Torchwood release due out on the same day is Series 1 on both HD and Blu-ray. Now we all know that Blu-ray has won the argument, but a lot of people bought HD machines, so it's nice to see that they're bringing that out. So if you want to see Torchwood in even more detail than you already did, that comes out on the 30th of June. Bringing us up to the 21st of July, we'll see the release of the much anticipated DVD The Brain of Mobius, one of my personal favourites, and something on VHS I watched until the cows came home. The Brain of Mobius sees the 4th Doctor, in one of his most striking performances, being sent against his will by the Time Lords to a remote planet to apparently help out the Sisterhood of Khan, or is it to help out the mad scientist? Now we all know that this story is basically a retelling of the Frankenstein myth, but that doesn't stop it being a fantastic romp. Apparently Terrance Dicks was so disappointed frustrated with the changes that were made to the story and the script that he asked for his name to be taken off and replaced with Something Bland. And by the opening sequence you can see that the person who wrote this story is in fact Robin Bland. So what else do you get with this DVD? Again, a commentary. This is a Tom Baker Elizabeth Sladen commentary. Definitely worthwhile having a listen to. The making of here is called Getting Ahead. It's very in-depth, and I'm sure we'll come back to that one in a bit. There's a nice section on design. There's something new as well from To Entertain, which is a 3D CGI tour of the set. It only lasts a minute or so, but it's nice to see the layout in TC1. That's the studio that they used to record it in. There's more concept gallery stuff, there's a photo gallery, and as always, the Radio Times listings, program subtitles, and of course the production notes, which always bring a smile. After that, August the 18th, 2008, will bring us the summertime release of the much maligned Colin Baker story and indeed season, Trial of a Time Lord. I remember this box set coming out on VHS in a little TARDIS shaped tin. I watched it off and on, but it was never my truly favourite thing. But looking back on it now, it's genuinely stood the test of time, and this 4-disc set really does this season, and indeed Colin Baker's time, a lot of justice. As you may or may not be aware, the whole season was set, the Sixth Doctor being on trial for his life apparently, at the hands of a character called the Valeyard. I won't spoil it for those who don't know, but the trial itself uses actual Doctor Who stories, brand new ones, that we get to see as an audience through the wonderful gift of The Matrix, not that Matrix, the other Matrix, exactly what's going on. So the first story is often referred to as The Mysterious Planet, while the extras that come with it obviously are standard commentaries, but there are 2 sets. The first one's with Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Tony Selby and Adam Blackwood, but the second one is with Eric Saywood. Now that's only on the first episode, but it is worth experiencing because Eric had such a huge input on this story. Robert Holmes' last. Of course, you get to see the making of The Mysterious Planet, and indeed all 4 of these discs have a making of documentary. There are deleted and extended scenes, trails, continuity. There is a fabulous 35mm film sequence where you get to see some great model work. For those people interested in making their own episodes of Doctor Who, there are clean versions of the title, remixed music, the trial theme, all in 5.1 Dolby. But for me, the highlight of this whole first disc was the Points of View episode hosted by Anne Robinson, looking slightly startled as the host of Points of View. Yes, it's that Anne Robinson, where people write into the BBC complaining about things that have affected them. This whole segment is dedicated to how people feel about the new theme music, about where Doctor Who's going, and you know, I for one couldn't help but see the similarities between fandom then and fandom now. Disc 2, a story currently referred to as Mind Warp, has one of the oddest performances from Doctor Who, coming, as it does, from Brian Blessed. This disc, as well as having the usual things like the commentary and the making of, has a wonderful small documentary called A Fate Worse Than Death, where Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant comment over the closing scenes of episode 14 and discuss the alternate ending. As I said, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I'm sure that'll be worth a look. Disc 3 marks the arrival of Bonnie Langford, playing the companion Mel, in a story popularly referred to as Terror of the Vervoids. And if ever there was a Doctor Who story that really was based on an Agatha Christie, then this is it. The final disc contains the last 2 parts, that's episode 13 and 14, of the trial itself. Again, in fandom, this story is usually referred to as the Ultimate Foe, but as I don't want to give you any spoilers, I will talk about the extras instead. This disc has the most extras on it. Segments from Saturday's Superstore, a documentary about the 1985 hiatus, which has some very telling conversations in it, and another documentary called Trials and Tribulations, which looks at the entire tenure of Colin Baker, which features some very, very impressive interviews. And that, my friends, brings us to August. There will be another proper TDP very shortly. Before I go, I just want to thank SFX Magazine for reviewing my podcast in issue 171. 3.5 stars isn't bad for a guy with a £3 microphone just rambling about his favourite show. And with that, be seeing you. You have been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk.